So after we got the big news of the Transformers War for Cybertron Trilogy Earthrise trailer and we broke that down, more new toy information dropped in our lap. And this one was unexpected, probably something Hasbro did not plan to get out there early. But In Demand Toys, their website, posted some stock images of what seems like to me a possibly one-off kind of Transformers War for Cybertron product. It's very bizarre. It doesn't really fit in with anything we've known up to this point in terms of price points and how the retail rollout works. So let's talk about Buzzworthy Bumblebee. Now, the packaging itself is a card back of what is very similar to what we got from the Thrilling 30 a couple years ago, which were these Legend Scale 2-packs that came with a little, I want to say, Micromaster price point, Battle Master price point kind of item. A little figure, a little companion Micromaster piece. And this is fascinating because it has box art that's very reminiscent of what's going on with Earthrise and Kingdom and War for Cybertron. It's very Kingdom, the packaging, to the point that I'm almost going like, what's the story going on here? Now, what's funny is the box art itself is using the Earthrise / Evergreen kind of art style, while the figure does not look like that. The character that's with him is Spike Witwicky from Generation 1, so if there's some kind of story going on here, it's like, how did Spike end up in prehistoric Earth for Kingdom? It's very confusing if we're trying to think hardly just about where this toy places in continuity. Not to mention even the headshot of the box art doesn't even match the headshot of the larger box art. And it's bizarre. So let's get to the figure itself, because it even gets more perplexing, and I'll tell you why. Because my mechanic side of me was going, wait, what's going on here? So it's obviously a core class kind of scale figure of G1 Bumblebee, and it comes with a Spike Witwicky that has the Exo-suit, transforms into it just by pretty much lying down. So that's nice. That's kind of cool. Obviously, people are probably not going to be happy with the fact that, despite the fact that it's a core class figure of a key character like Bumblebee, doesn't turn into a Volkswagen Beetle. I think that maybe the Netflix thing was a one-off, pay for the license for the Volkswagen and that's it, and then we return back to these, not kind of licensed cars. But here's the thing. He does have a licensed car design that he's homaging, and it's not Bumblebee, and it's kind of making me wonder what the repaint of this is going to be in the future. I was looking at that alt mode, and right away the car guy in me was going, wait a minute, that's definitely not a Volkswagen Beetle, but that's a Mazda 323, also known as the Protege in some regions in the world, from the 80s. And in Transformers lore, or Transformers culture, the Mazda 323 Protege from the 80s was Minibot Bumper, aka Mazda Familia Takara Microman Microchanger Bumper, which was that really rare, hard to get, variant from the 1984-1985 Minibot line. And it's crazy when you put those two side by side, and I'll include the image of the original bumper next to the alt mode here. The hood matches completely. That hood is straight up, the indented hood for the engine dip. The front headlights match. The bumper, no pun intended, match. The grill is the standard air intake grill for the Familia or the Protege. Even the way the windows are. The front windows, the side windows. The Autobot logo on the hood, even on the roof, even though that's kind of a standard. This is straight up. If you took off that Bumblebee head off of the robot mode and put Bumper's head, this is Bumper's toy. This is straight up, Bumper. This isn't Buzzworthy Bumblebee. This is Buzzworthy Bumper for the War for Cybertron, trilogy toy line. So it's very fascinating the route that they went with this, because if you're going to give us something that's an alt mode that's straight up another obscure character in Transformers lore, why not just go the whole route? Now, granted, I understand where this belongs and everything. This is a Kingdom kind of one-shot toy. I assume, I don't know if there's going to be any others of these 2-packs. This is the only one we've seen thus far, but Buzzworthy Bumblebee, instead of just be calling it Bumblebee. Why didn't they just call it Bumblebee? If it's Buzzworthy Bumblebee, maybe this is just a special retail one-shot item of a case of 8. Who knows? Again, I'm reading too much into this, but it's kind of a weird kind of trademarking in the way that they're using this with the packaging, and especially the way that we know how the core class is being rolled out thus far. Maybe they would just wanted to make it special for their headliner character of Bumblebee, as opposed to Megatron, Soundwave, Optimus, and all the other core classes that we know thus far, Rat Trap, and the Fossilizers. Either way, I understand what they did here. I understand why they didn't go with the Volkswagen because of trademarks, but it's weird that they went with Bumper's alt mode. Very, very weird. They could have just went with something that was a little more not Beetle, but not, anything else. I don't know. Very odd. Very, very odd. At least I like that the spike is there. That's kind of cool. Maybe that mold's going to probably see more action. We'll probably see it as, I don't see it being used. Some people are probably going to be wondering, is this spike mold a indicator of what that Studio Series 86 Slag with Daniel is going to be? Is that going to be the mold that's going to be used for the Daniel, which would probably also be in an Exo-suit? Well, if the Grimlock was any indicator, the leader class Grimlock, because the Slag with Daniel is supposed to be also a leader class price point. If the Grimlock is any indicator with its wheelie, that's the accessory figure. The wheelie is a static kind of figure with limited articulation and no transformation ability. Chances are the Daniel will probably follow suit. I could be wrong. Maybe they'll reduce the plastic used on the Slag, and the Daniel will be a transformable little exosuit kind of thing going on. But again, everything we do at this podcast is looking to the past to get a clear indicator of what's going on in the future, and that's usually the case 90% of the time. So this looks like it's probably just more of a one-off kind of thing. We're probably going to see these molds again in the future for sure. Hasbro never wastes a mold and they repaint everything, but it's such a weird choice. And that if we do get a bumper from this, it's not going to be in the yellow traditional colors that bumper is. They're going to probably do it in white or some kind of other color scheme, much like they did with Hubcap and a few others. So very bizarre. Very, very bizarre. There's probably going to be like some third party or, Shapewave's kind of 3D printed kit for a brand new head for this mold to give you a proper bumper figure. Because, this alt mode it's bumper. It's bumper. It's the Mazda Protege from 1979, 1980, the 4th generation version. It's totally it. Completely. So, this is fascinating. It's very interesting. Let me know what you think about this. This totally came out of left field, and I looked way too deeply into it, just from my car guy spider senses were tingling on this. So let me know what you think. Very interesting indeed.